Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We are approaching the third hour now of our game. What's going on, Dice? You have a plan.
I do have a plan.
I'm loath to ask, but please, please tell me about your plan.
So
How many
assuming
people will this plan murder?
a lot. So assuming that the bar is once again full, say the next night. The first thing that I'd like to do, and this is completely separate from my plan, but I think it would be fun, is the night before, like right after I talk to Scab and sort of have no resolution on that, and then like that night when the bar's sort of closing up, I'm gonna go down into the drug den basement where there are no drugs.
Yes, the empty den.
Sit and ponder and open myself to the weirdness of the psychic maelstrom for probably the first time for Dice.
Oh, yeah. So you're just like, you're at a loss. What does this look like for you? So you're just like walking around, kind of like
I just flop down into one of the like, I don't know, like sort of dusty bean bags down there.
Gross.
In the basement. Yeah, like really horrible. And just like, I'm trying to think of like what I can do, what leverage I can bring, who I can shoot in the face to resolve my problem, which is how Dice does things.
Okay, and what does Dice consider?
Probably accidentally triggers like some kind of weird thing because she got weirder when she died.
Sure. Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. Okay, so what does Dice consider to be the problem here, like that she's pondering?
How can I regain control of my life?
What does control look like? When was the last time you were actually in control of your life?
That was a long time ago. That was back when I was in charge of a chopper gang, I'm pretty sure. Last time I was in control, and it wasn't a good time. That was probably when. Like right now, it's just, how do I get these idiots out of my bar is like the initial question.
But you don't want them out of your bar. You want them in the bar buying things.
That doesn't mean that's what Dice is thinking.
Sure.
Just because I rationally understand that. It's more like these people are a problem.
Okay.
You know? And I need to solve that problem. And I solve all my problems with violence. So I'm assuming the answer will be violence, but I'd like to know. You know, it's one of those things.
Sure.
Where she's just kind of going over to in her own head and maybe accidentally sort of like comes to this sort of like maelstrom shit happening. And I think opening Dice to the psychic maelstrom is a weird move. So.
Sure.
Let's open my brain.
Okay. So you I don't know, maybe you fall asleep. Maybe that's how you think of it.
Yeah,
maybe yeah, maybe you remember it as a dream, maybe not. I don't know. But you see like what looks like a crater, almost like a deep crater. Now it's cut too perfectly to be like natural. So it's this deep like black stone, like kind of edged hole in the ground, and littering the bottom, like filling the hole, are like graying, like rusting metal, like bones, essentially, like pieces of machines that you recognize to be vaguely kind of humanoid in their shape. And you're wandering this, and you know, like in a dream, you see from one perspective, then you find yourself somewhere else, and we're walking through this junkyard of discarded machinery. And you come across, I think we hear the sound before we see the thing, and you're kind of like maneuvering through these piles of jagged metal and rock, and you hear like muttering and scraping, and then like this occasional sort of wet sort of like suction noise, and it's coming from somewhere, but like also kind of all around you. And when you come around a corner, you see sitting in the middle of this kind of like opening, this clearing. There's like a card table, like green felt covered card table, all like rotting and twisted, but that's sitting in the middle. And there's some cards and like a pile of chips on the table, and there are two people, one on either side of the table. One of them you recognize right away as Ferris. And on the other side of the table, there's another man. Have you seen? I mean, you maybe recognize him in passing, like this is a person you've seen, but I don't think you've ever interacted with Nipperkin before, right?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Didn't he help? Didn't he help heal her?
But she was like zonked
was
out
out.
while that
Okay.
happened. Yeah. Okay. So you see Ferris and Nipperkin, and they seem to be playing cards. And there's something like in the middle of the table, but you can't really make out what it is. But as you get closer, and we get this in like not like a long, slow kind of smooth shot, but like that jarring sort of stutter forward, like you're closer, then you're a little closer, and then you're like quite a bit closer, and they don't seem to notice you. And you notice that they're all mixed up. Like Nipperkin's face seems to have been like cut off. Right, there's this like ragged like scar around the outside of his face, and there's like part of a mask that's been like stapled on in its place, like a gas mask missing the canvas. And Ferris is wearing Nipperkin's face kind of like over his own, and it's just been like pulled on and like maybe screwed in place, and it's just kind of hanging there all like limp and hollow. Nipperkin has a hand that like these 3 fingers have been replaced with like metal clamps. Again, like shoddily done and quickly, like just kind of stapled in. They're still dripping on the table. And Ferris is wearing like his fingers as a necklace. As you walk up, it looks like you see Nipperkin fold on a hand, right? He like looks at it, he shakes his head, and like muffled through his like mangled, like torn off face, he's like, lost again. Like throws the cards down on the table, and he reaches into his coat, and there's like a tearing noise as he like breaks his ribs open and like pulls out some like wet organ and like drops it on the table. And he kind of shrugs, and Ferris just picks it up and picks up a staple gun and just staples it to his chest.
Okay.
And then
All right.
Nipperkin like looks over at you, and again through the like dripping torn face, he gestures, and you realize there's a seat there, a third seat, and he's like, pull up a seat. And then that's when you like start in the basement. Yeah.
At like 4 in the morning, like
So, like several hours have passed, or whatever. You're just like, "Gah," and like just like sweating through your clothes.
yeah, like cold sweat. Exactly.
I was gonna try and open my brain, but now I don't want to.
I don't want to open my brain. I'm glad I took the time to go weird. I'm really glad I took the time to go to weird, because that was cool.
Yeah.
And I think Dice is processing that particular vision. She knows that Ferris is working on something for her that is like mechanical in nature. And that seemed to suggest that she'd have to trade more of herself for it. Like that whole thing was like sit at the table and gamble your human soul, basically, like the things that make you a person, with the 2 people who, one she doesn't recognize and one is Ferris.
Yeah.
So, that's it's good. It's good. I like it. But I have a plan that's apart from that. Learning that is good, but there are problems that are more immediate that I need to solve right now.
Okay.
So that night, not like the 4 a.m., but like the day passes as regular, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
During the day, like how many people would you like averagely, what's the like ratio of like scabs people to not scabs people in the bar?
I mean, Scab isn't there every night, right? Like Scab's got shit to do.
This has to be a night where Scab is there.
Yeah, so you are waiting for a night. Well, on that night, then it's like 2/3 Scabs people, 1/3 everybody else.
Okay, 2/3 scabs people, 1/3 everybody else. I think I can rock that. All right. So once it's like at its busiest, Dice is gonna sort of step away from the bar a little bit and walk towards one of the tables.
So a bunch of people like, hey, where the fuck are you going? Like, and they're like putting brass on the table and like you walk off and they're like,
fucking wait a second, you know, like, and I got something important to say. And I get up onto one of the tables. Like, there's probably like people like drinking or playing cards or something like at this table. And I just fucking stand up on it, like get up onto the table. So I'm like above, you know, the crowd in general. And I'm like, you guys like the drinks, right? You know, like looking for some kind of answer.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, people like look up at you. They're not like suddenly like wrapped with attention. They're like, oh,
No,
cool,
of course.
someone's being rowdy.
Of course, and yeah, I'm being rowdy, and I own this place, so like you'd know who I am if you're here. Like, you guys like the drinks, right? You want them to keep coming, right? You know, like, I know a person, a rather selfish person, that would prefer that they be even more expensive and under her boot. And I know who that person's here right now. And I like point my finger over towards like Scab.
Yeah, and she's gotten up and is standing just outside the cage, like looking up at you.
Now, this is a problem we can solve real easy. I think there's somebody better to lead that little group that she's got going there. Somebody a little bit more, what would you say, judicious about their business decisions. When she gets better, which she will, I think that we need to remove Scab from this equation and let Junior take control of that whole Rolf Ball thing. Blood is blood, am I right? And can I roll now something?
Do you have like an addressing the crowd move?
I have a move.
What is the move that you would like to make?
And it is the news. It's a news move that I took on my advance. It's called Rally to the Cause. And when you speak out in favor of a cause or a person, roll plus hot. On plus 10, hold 2. On 7 to 9, hold 1. Spend your hold 1 for 1 to have your audience send in supplies, attack somebody you name, defend somebody or something you name, go together to a place you name. And on a miss, hold 1 anyway, but spend it. But to hold 1 anyway, but to spend it, you personally have to lead them into action. So this is like an oratory skill that allows me to direct a crowd, basically.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and move. Let's do it.
All right.
Roll plus shit disturb.
So that's 1 hold. So I have 1 hold.
Okay.
Basically, what I want is for them to attack Scab. And I'm going to do it straight away as well.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, I don't think this is the thing, like this move, like I feel like Dice getting up on a table and just being like, attack your boss. To a bunch of like her loyal people.
It's not. I'm looking to influence maybe the people who aren't.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, you can definitely start a gang fight in the bar.
And they're gonna get a better deal at this bar at the very least under somebody else. So it really depends how loyal they are. We're talking about like gangers, you know, like we're talking about people who are doing this because maybe they love the drugs, you know, or whatever. Like they don't necessarily have any personal loyalty other than her like flunkies.
Yeah. I mean, I think most of them are like strung out and she's their supplier. So,
there's a much easier, more pliant supplier who's currently dying.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like because this is a dice plan, there's like nothing to back it up. It's just a lot of shouting.
No, there's absolutely nothing to back it up.
So yeah, you have no proof, and it's just shouting. So you're gonna get at the very least like a drunk like bar fight out of this.
That's what I want.
All right, sure.
I told Scab I could make her life difficult. I'm about to do that.
Okay, cool. So it's like you and the people that you've rallied and Scab and her people, and how like is this like a fight or like how bad do you want this to get?
I mean, I want them to attack Scab, so
Yeah,
I guess it
attack is one way on the way to something else. Do you want is killing Scab the thing here?
I mean, I will kill Scab if she's in a position where I can do so.
All right, I'm just saying like
I personally will.
I'm letting you set the level of escalation this goes to, and if murder is on the line, then murder is on the line, and that's okay. But that's your call as the person on the table. Okay. Sure. So this is not going to be like a fists fight. This is guns. This is like guns and chains and knives.
I mean, dice doesn't do it. Well, let's put it this way. After I stop talking, I use my one hand to pull my gun out and point it at her.
Oh yeah, I mean, as soon as you're like, we should overthrow her, she's like, they're all ready to shoot you too. So everybody starts shooting.
All right.
Yeah. So yeah, a gunfight erupts, right? As soon as anybody draws, it's just like the chaos you wanted happens.
Everybody's fucking dehydrated and like drunk.
Yeah. And you've stirred them to action. So
there you go. That was my plan.
That's not a plan. That's not a plan at all. I love it, but it's not a plan. It's just a mess.
But she planned it. She wanted to do the thing, and she did the thing.
It's a plan.
It is a plan.
It's not a good plan, but it's a plan.
Yeah. Okay. So you've got. Let me look at what's up with the gang size.
So there's three gang sizes, right? There's small, medium, and large.
Yeah, but like what's the numbers?
Small is like 20 people. And then medium is 30, and then I think large is
okay. I don't think there's 50 people in here. I think it's two small gangs.
Two small gangs,
but one is better equipped than the other.
Yeah, like their gang is probably better armed.
Yeah.
Totally. I mean, is it a small gang against the medium gang?
No, because that would require there being 50 people total in the bar, which is
small versus
too many. Yeah.
As the esportsers say, calculated.
Okay, so a battle like erupts in the bar. And I guess what you want is to get them out of the bar? What's your goal here? Like if you roll and you get a 10 plus, like what do you want?
Yeah, throw them out. Probably give Scab a bullet for her troubles.
Okay. A lot of people are gonna die tonight. Like a lot. Either way.
Deal. Sweet deal.
So I think
I'm ready. Let's amp up the carnage.
You and the people that you're fighting with are looking at, let's see, the harm rating of the weapons that the gang has. Let me find I'm actually gonna look in the rule book, the like gang combat shit.
There's also the do something in a chaotic melee or whatever one.
I mean, dice is taking harm regardless. Like I'm thinking this is seized by force, right? Because that's what you're trying to do.
Can I posit that I have extra armor from Rasputin on this because it is ridiculous and scary? Like there's no reason for me to be doing this. Like,
I mean, yeah. Like,
I fucking took it and it's been
no. I know. I think the thing about Rasputin is that it's like you going directly after a threat personally. Like you're putting these people in front of you.
Going I literally said I'm going to like. Can I not be part of this gang? Can I not join this gang?
You can. Yeah. Give me a second here. Okay, so a gang size 10 to 25 means small, 25 to 50 means medium. So it is actually a small gang versus a medium gang.
Oh, all right.
And let me take a look at using a gang. Here we go. Using a gang as a weapon. So you're using the gang as your weapon to go to seize by force, and the bar is what you're trying to seize by force. You're trying to like toss them out and be like throwing in your lot with Junior, who's like almost certainly dead by now, but that doesn't matter to anybody here.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
All right, so if you're fighting as a member of a gang, how much harm you take depends on your role of the gang. If you're the leader, you suffer the same harm as the gang does. So the gang itself, and if you're bigger, if the gang is bigger, it just does one extra each step, one armor and one harm for each step of difference. Okay, so your guys are a 2 harm small gang, and their guys are they have rifles and shotguns and stuff, nothing like assault rifle-y, but So we'll say they're a 3 harm medium gang.
This is gonna go so badly.
So 3 harm medium. So that means they have 1 armor. We have 1 armor over the other guys. So okay, so you're looking at taking, you and your gang are gonna basically everybody on your side is gonna be like grievously injured. But if you succeed in the move, you'll still get what you want. We'll exchange harm for harm, and you'll get to inflict terrible or suffer little for the gang in this moment.
I love it. Let's go.
Okay, so the harm we're looking at on either side is you're looking at 4 harm, and the enemy gang is looking at 1 to begin with, and then we'll see how that shakes out. So you're gonna seize by force, and the thing you're trying to seize here is like ownership of Hit Me Up, right? Like that you're basically proving your point that like I'm too tenacious and fucked up to be worth fighting with. So if you want to do this,
crazy, don't fuck with me.
Yeah, no, and that's perfect. That's exactly a thing you can seize by force by this method. Yeah, I'm crazy and I can make other people crazy too, and that's how it goes. Okay, all right. So go ahead and roll plus hard.
Okay. Oh,
there you go. All right.
Yes! Finally, the dice.
So you get to make some choices here. You're gonna get to pick 3 things. Which is the one thing you don't want on the list? Do you want to inflict terrible harm? Do you want to suffer little harm? Do you want to take definite and undeniable control? And do you want to impress, dismay, or frighten your
I don't care about suffering little harm. Hit me up.
All right, so you take 4 harm. So that's cool.
Armor. I'm taking 3 harm.
You take 3 harm. What does that put
Unless
you
I get Rasputin, in which case I take 2.
No, Rasputin, let's read over so we can be real clear about Rasputin, what it does. And if it doesn't fit because you haven't used it yet, you can feel free to change it. But the thing about Rasputin is it's less like I'm crazy and difficult to hurt, and it's more like no matter how much you shoot me, I just keep coming. It's like the Terminator move. So if you had been like, I draw my gun and walk across the room, and I'm like, cool, she shoots you, and you're like, I just keep coming, then it would be like, cool, yes. So you take the shots and get armor.
Could I posit that like maybe I should have taken Daredevil instead, which is like when you do things that are risky without hedging your bets, you take 1 armor. Like I feel like maybe that's
yeah, Daredevil seems like it makes more sense. Yeah, why don't you swap those out?
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Anyway,
you still have +2 armor.
So 2 armor then for this.
So you take 2 harm. You gotta make that harm move. Everyone around you gets fucking murdered. A few people get hurt on her side. You've proven your point to Scab, right? She's like, okay, crazy, you can have your stupid bar. You've maybe killed 1 or 2 of her guys, but you've also shown everyone in town like this is a place where you go if you want to get your ass killed. It's a dangerous place to be. Following you leads people into a bad place, which is fine. That's totally okay.
This is a true thing that we
Yep.
have established.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this.
All right. So I'll roll my harm move.
It's bloodshed, but you do get them out of there.
So 2d6 plus 2, 7.
Okay. So on a 7 to 9 for the harm move, I think I get to choose a thing. All right, let me find that harm move here.
Says something about leading a convoy in Daredevil. I don't know if that increases the armor of my gang.
They're not a convoy. They're
No.
definitely, the convoy requires vehicles.
Just checking.
This is just a fight.
Didn't she intend to she intended to get them out and shoot Scab?
Scab
right?
takes 1 harm. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She's got her gang behind her. They protect her from harm. So.
That must be nice.
Yeah. So yeah, she gets winged and fucks off. Okay, lose your footing, lose grip on what you're holding, lose track of something you're attending to, and miss noticing something important. I mean, I gotta go with misnoticing something important, right? Because it's not in the moment, like you losing your footing or your grip or whatever is not that important.
Cool.
Yeah, I will make a note and I'll figure out what it is that you missed later.
Alrighty.
Okay, cool. Missed something. All right. So meanwhile at the temple, Brace, how do you get there? Do you take the little like truck ferry or do you walk?
I mean, we already like. I mean, it could very well not be active anymore, but the truck ferry lady considers me a guest and not a fare.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, you can use your hold on her to get a free ride.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sure. So I think it's sometime later. You're away from town when the big fucking fight goes down and hit me up.
I just like start the gun battles.
And and so it's a couple of days later and you're arriving at the or I guess you'd go right away. So it's while this is happening. So you're arriving at the temple.
Mhm.
By the way, Adam, it is +1 armor for my gang during that. Daredevil gives them +1.
Okay, cool. So only half of them were horribly murdered.
Sweet.
And if you had any friends left in the bar, I would kill half of them instead of all of
That
them.
may actually be worse for me that half of them survived. Yeah. That's all right though.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So, so when you arrive, now the place has, it's like militarized. There's like walls kind of up around the entrance. There's a little guard tower that somebody is up in. And the truck stops outside and, you're let out and you still got a ways to walk. Like she won't go any further.
So like I'm at the gate.
Yeah. So you head up to the gate and you see Porter there, and he's got his rifle and he's just like on guard duty, standing by the gate.
And so I like go up to him and I say, I was going to go to the temple.
He nods. He's like, yeah, that's fine. Rules has changed though. You gotta pay.
Pay.
Yeah. You got any weapons? Because we'll take those in trade.
To go to the temple.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the
And she's
stock for the
like-
stockpile.
I don't remember a pile.
It's new.
Where is Tynant?
Hank squints at you. I don't know. Ghost took him, maybe? They haven't been around in a while. See? So, we've been making do.
Okay, so she like probably is wearing like random shit from the gang stuff instead of her weird scarves.
You're wearing your Rolf Ball Ganger outfit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so she like
It's that day one DLC.
makes the motion of like when people are patting their pockets like really exaggeratedly, and she's just like,
Do you have like a gun or something on you? They
I have scalpels.
Oh yeah, they don't. He doesn't. He took the goblins from Nipperkin in the first place. I brought these scalpels back. So yeah, he kind of shrugs. He's like, "Well, I mean, if you don't got a gun, you could donate like anything else. We'll even take Templetown script. You got any brass?"
And she like, and she I guess she takes like some like I guess it could just be brass like from her pocket. Like, is he gonna like reach out a hand to her to take it? Like she just goes like this.
He wouldn't. He'd put his hand out like open, but he's wearing gloves.
Oh, of course he's wearing gloves. Everyone wears gloves 'cause they're mean.
I mean, you could grab his wrist or something.
Yeah, she would be like, she would go to like drop them like directly into his hand and then like open her hand to touch like the skin underneath his like sleeve.
So while this is happening, you're Ferris, you're nearby. You can see this. You see like you're working on some tubing or something nearby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So you you drop the brass in his hand, and then you want to like touch the
Puppet
wrist,
string.
whatever.
Yeah, I want to try. Do I have to roll anything before I roll puppet strings?
Yeah, I think so. I think you need to act under fire, and the fire is that he's innately suspicious of strangers, right? He's gonna pull away if you try to touch him, but he might not be fast enough or might not notice.
Okay, well, we'll see if this works.
Okay. Totally does. Yeah.
And so now I can roll puppet
Yeah.
string.
Yeah. No problem. Smooth as silk. You just like brush your fingers across his wrist as you drop the brass in his hand.
Okay, so I hold one.
Well, so what does this look like? Like, what does Ferris see? Is it just like gently?
I mean, I feel like I like have like he says whatever, I like pat things and then go like whatever. And then he says something else. I don't know if he's like close enough to hear. And then I like grab something out of my pocket. I like put it on his hand, open my hand. The guy's face goes slack for just a second.
Mm-hmm.
And then I take it back out of his hand. And like my thing is I want to go inside and I want to be allowed inside.
Okay, so the command is let me in.
Yes.
All right.
No, I want to interfere with this move. I don't want you to do this. This seems like a bad situation.
All right. So how is Ferris interfering?
You're wearing a violation glove. That is tech that I know. So as you go over and it beeps and it's like beep 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 and there's like little lights on it and stuff. When I just like come over and I just like turn it off. I just try to turn it off. I'm like, no.
So your presence is interfering with Brace's like concentration more than anything because you're aware of like what's happening because of the technology and you've seen Brace with this thing before.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Porter reacting, right?
Yeah, and yeah, Porter suddenly being like, "These are not the droids we're looking for." Okay.
So,
Yeah.
So he interfered on the puppet stringing?
He's gonna try to interfere with the puppet strings. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So on a 7 to 9, what's the interfere?
Take one help or one interfere, and I would still succeed partially.
It's 2.
Oh, a 7 to 9 though, they take +1 help or -1 interfere. On a 10 plus, they take +2 or -2.
All right, they've changed it. So because it used to just be -2 no matter what. Okay, so you still succeed at the move.
So maybe my glove, like he thought it was in the glove, but I've actually got it like on the small of my back, and so he go like the technology or whatever, like the glove is just like running under my clothes.
I mean, it still has to be your violation glove. I think the thing that makes the most sense here is that Ferris just isn't there quite fast enough.
Okay.
Yep, that seems fine.
Yeah, so Ferris walks up as you've done this. So the command you're implanting is let me in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you have 1 hold on him.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, he'll just spend that hold to let you in. So yeah, you drop the brass in his hand, and then you just take it back out again, and he just steps out of your way, kind of mechanically, and lets you walk by. And yeah, Ferris, you see Brace come into the temple, into the grounds.
Are you all right? I say to him.
He kind of blinks hard a couple of times and like looks at Brace as Brace walks by and looks at you. It's like, I'm fine.
Oh yeah, it looks like she paid. She used some weird technology on you. I just felt like you should know.
He like kind of just stares at you. What?
That weird glove. It's weird. That's brain. Well, your brain.
He nods and he's like, okay, buddy. Like he's just like, you're being crazy now, and I'm uncomfortable, and I don't understand what's happening.
Look, you're the guard.
He
You're
nods.
supposed to keep people like her out because she's gonna come in and she's gonna screw stuff up for everybody. I don't trust her. And that's saying a lot because normally I don't care enough about other people to form an opinion of whether they're actually valuable or not. Causing bad things to happen. I'm aware of this.
he says, well, I mean, I don't know about all that, but if you're worried about it, you could tell somebody. I mean, somebody, not me. I don't have a lot of say around here, but
If not you, then who?
he looks up, kind of like at the mountain, at like where the temple proper is, and he's like, you're gonna want to talk to Dust, and he gets this kind of funny look on his face when he says that.
Who is Dust? I don't think I've had the pleasure of meeting them yet.
They've been having visions. Came up from the farms. Collapsed one day. Ever since then. Like a font of wisdom. All kinds of new knowledge.
Okay. Yep. Continue doing your job. I guess I have somebody I need to go and speak to.
Okay.
Good job, buddy.
So, Brace, where are you going when you get here?
I feel like I would have gone to Tynant, but they were like, Tynant's not here.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, Tynant's always said that the ghosts are in charge, right? Like, he's always been very clear about that.
Yeah, they've got to deal with the ghosts, but the ghosts are the ones that are in charge.
So I would go to the well and talk to the ghosts. Open my brain to the ghosts.
I mean, yeah, do you want to do that just out here, or do you want to go in and like drink the water and...
Yeah.
So you're gonna head for the well?
I feel like I've seen Tynant do this stuff. I used to like
I can do this. I've seen it done a bunch of times.
I've seen it. I could totally talk to the ghosts. Yeah, that's her plan.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
talking to my ghost friends.
they're not really like guarding the sanctum or whatever. That was kind of Tynant's jam. They got other more worldly shit to worry about. So you go there and re-describe the grotto for us, Andrew, and I will interject with ways in which it might have changed.
So like, they're the only like really permanent buildings are the ones up at the temple. And they're kind of like arranged around the well, which is in the middle of this little like, there's like a kind of cobblestone like courtyard in the middle of these stone buildings set around it. And yeah, the well is all glowy and like lots of birds hang out around here. It's kind of one of the other big things. It is calm and quiet at the temple. And there's bioluminescent algae.
Yeah, so when you walk into the temple, it is indeed calm and quiet, and I think you step into the grotto, and you notice first of all that it's empty. There aren't a lot of people here, and we get this sort of shot from like a close-up shot of you, and then it pulls out to give us a view of the whole place, and the place is glowing dimly, and there's the well in the center, and scattered in like a perfect like sort of like spiral out from the well are the bodies of dead birds, just like this like perfect like mathematical like golden ratio spiral of bodies that just like starts at the well and spirals out. And so you step in, and I think that's like we hear like a crunching sound as you step on one of these bodies, and then like look up, and then we pull away and see the spiral.
I guess like that's not normal. I don't think that she would just ignore that and go up and drink the water anyway. I feel like this, like she would be like, all right, like she would just stay outside the circle of dead birds and try and get a like feel for what the ghosts are trying to say with it, I guess. Like she'd be like, okay, the ghost talked to Tynant. Tynant's not here. Maybe this is the ghosts talking to people. Like, I want to know what it means.
Yeah. All right. So you're asking the ghosts what? What is your question here? What are you opening? You're opening your brain to the maelstrom, but what do you want? Like,
what do I want from it?
What are you seeking here?
I want control of I mean, she wants her drugs, right? And to get her drugs, she needs to get the water. And the water.
You're on like a really long fetch quest. Like,
yeah.
Need drugs. Okay, to get the drugs, I need the water. To get the water, I need Tynan. To get Tynan, I need to get on Bill. To get on Bill, I need.
Yeah, well, basically, so she's like, all right, like, to get the water, I have to get the like person in charge of the water to give me the water, and Tynan was in charge, and then the ghosts are above him, and so I'm gonna talk to the ghosts, and they're gonna give me the water, and then I'm gonna go. Like, she doesn't say who's Tynant's second in charge. Like, it's always been like, oh, who's above Tynant, like, because he's not here. Like, she wouldn't go to someone less than him. She would go like above him and just talk to the ghost. So she wants the water, and she's gonna ask the ghosts for it.
Okay, but you're not willing to like actually engage with the well.
I mean, like, she would be willing to do it, but I feel like she'd stop when she sees a bunch of like dead birds and be like, what is this? Like, if she opens her mind and they're like, go drink the water, she'd be like, okay.
Yeah, I'm just checking to like set the tenor here, because if you just like drink the water, it's definitely more like intense and straightforward than if you're like kind of gently feeling out the situation, which you can also do. Why don't you make that move? We'll see what the Maelstrom has to say.
So I just roll plus weird.
Sorry, Dave, you were gonna say something?
I was just gonna say two things. I guess one's not super important. We never resolved my sharp roll. And
Which was that?
Reading the situation, which I failed a couple of hours ago.
Oh, yeah, it's okay.
Okay. And two, I would like to tap into this as well. I want to also read it.
Sure. Yeah. So you're in the shot. You're in the background, and you're like watching Brace enter the sanctum. Totally, you can be a part of this for sure.
That's one of my brain. Yeah, we'll see how yours.
All right, go ahead first, Brace. Oh
What?
boy.
Okay.
Oh, that is not a good. That's nope. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. I'm prepared for the worst. Why do I? Oh,
You want to talk to the ghosts of the dead, huh?
I should be good at this. Oh, I hate everything. I'm bad at role-playing games.
Okay, so it's good. Maybe it's good that Ferris is there. So yeah, I think that you stare at the spiral pattern of dead bodies on the floor, and you find yourself kind of like separating from you, right? You kind of go out of your own body, and you see yourself standing there. And as we pull back, we can see the floor of the temple, and it begins, the farther from it and the blurrier and kind of stranger it gets, it starts to look more and more like an eye, this like black hole in the center, and then this ring of like dark color broken by the bodies of these. What kinds of birds are they, Andrew? Are they like tropical birds, or are they like ravens, or like just miscellaneous?
Yeah, lots of like corvids.
Right. Okay. So there's just this black circle that sort of spirals out, and you kind of lose yourself in the void as you pull back. Right. You sort of stare down into this emptiness, and I'm gonna ask, actually, Andrew, what do the ghosts want Brace to do? And I'm not saying this is what the Maelstrom is saying, but I want to know what the ghosts want Brace to do in this situation.
Jeez. I mean, if she really wants to talk to the ghosts, then the ghosts want her to come into the well and talk to them.
Yeah.
But like, don't bring the water up. You go down into the well.
Perfect. Yeah. So I think you feel both a push and a pull. So Brace, maybe before you even realize it, you have your hands on the lip of the well, the cold stone, like actually feeling cold to you. And you're leaned over looking into the well, and you can feel something like a vacuum or a presence, a pull from outside as well. Not just like you walking into the well like gravity, but something behind you pushing as well. And Ferris, you see Brace walk forward and put her hands on the edge of the lip of the well. I want to give you an opportunity to do something, or join in the chaos if you want.
I mean, he said he was going to open his mind, right?
Yeah, I mean, sure, but what do you what's your character? What's Ferris doing when this is happening?
I want to push her in the well.
Okay, all right.
No. Do I want to push her in the well? I do, but only because it'll be funny, not because it's in character.
Well, I mean, this problem showed up. Man. You don't trust Brace, and you're like, well, I could deal with this problem. Ugh.
Yeah, it's more of a, but you know.
I mean, I'm already leaning over it. It wouldn't actually take that much for. I'm just saying it wouldn't be like a violent, like, you know, you could probably just go. Or you could help me, but you probably don't want to do that.
I think I'm struck by how weird this is as well. And despite, I think, wanting to, I think I should find out if it's what things want to happen first. I mean, okay, yeah. I think I start to notice this pattern as well going on, and that she's like at the center of it. Like, this is really weird, especially, and since this is something I haven't said explicitly, it'll probably get me in trouble now that we know that I've thought it, but I don't believe in ghosts. So.
Sure. So you are you're gonna open your brain to the ambient data space, the like maelstrom, and look around, or are you gonna things speak on the well, or what do you do?
Oh, I could do either of those, shouldn't I?
Yeah, like you're in the sanctum now. You could just like kneel down and like touch the floor.
Yeah, I want to things speak on the well.
All right,
Let's do it.
Do it. All right, make that roll.
Woo! I love this one. Yes,
Nice.
That's how you be weird.
Stupid Brace.
All right. So what do you want to know? What are you asking?
Who made this? Who made this?
Oh boy. Do you have any concrete ideas about this, Andrew? Do you have like any thoughts or?
Okay, well, what is this we're referring to?
The well, like the temple's core source of power.
Yeah, like why is it the way that it is?
What is it? Yeah, like who made this thing? I guess we don't have to talk about what it is, but like if you're thinking like, oh, it's obviously like some extra dimensional magic object, or if it's like
I think
something
like,
of the world
literally,
before.
Literally, there are like dead people in the water.
Mm-hmm.
But
I have a really good idea. Okay, can I take that and run with it?
Yeah, the one thing I was gonna say is
go ahead.
like something about like being dead in this water. Like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's what you see.
Like you go die in any water, and this is going to happen to it now in the apocalypse. It's like there's this particular.
So here's.
But there are like legitimately people in there, and probably Tynan expects to one day go in there himself.
So here's what you see. It's a vision of a place like this, but not this. There's a metal pipe, big metal pipe, sticking up out of the ground. You're in what looks like a warehouse or a facility, right? Like the smooth concrete floor. You're in a building. It's like a bunker. It's been like set into the mountain, and there are a bunch of people in lab coats, like white lab coats with. I guess they're in hazmat suits. So there's everybody wearing these these white hazmat suits with gloves and masks, and they're moving around, and you can hear the hissing of their breathing. And there's this pipe sticking up out of the ground, and the pipe has a bunch of sort of arcane sigils on it. And I don't mean it in the sense of like a wizard drew them, but things that are unusual to you. But as an audience, we would see like a biohazard sign and like a bunch of warning labels on it. And one of the guys in the suits is like opening the top of this thing and pulling it open. And the other people are they're bringing in like carts, essentially, like gurneys with bodies like wrapped up on them. And once the guy has the thing open, the people start to just dump these bodies into the pipe, and so they're like falling down. You can hear a splash somewhere below, and this just like continues. And as we pull back, you can see that outside there are trucks, like dozens of trucks, just full of dead bodies. And they're just bringing them here and like dumping them into this underground cistern for some reason. And this happened like long ago. Yeah, so there's some kind of like, it was built by the ancients to like dump their dead. Though why this place, you don't know. What else you want to know?
Just like, what else do you want to know at the end? There's like, what?
Oh, I was muted. Yeah. How might I fix it? What's wrong with it? And how do I fix this weird, fucked up body's well?
What's wrong with it? Well, I'll turn this to Andrew. Andrew, what's wrong with the well? Like generally, not just like somebody else is messing with it now, but like in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, like how could we improve this overall? I think if it could like communicate with people more clearly.
Ah, yes.
Because you know, we're trying our best and like, you know, working through Tynant and everything, like we're doing our best to get people on board.
I can totally do another a flash thing for that. That's perfect. So what you see then is the well is now closed, and there are all of these like cables that run into the ground near it, and you follow the cables into a room. And in this room, the people that were wearing the hazmat suits, they're not now. Now they're wearing like gray and black, like proper suits and ties. Some of them have glasses. There's someone holding a clipboard, and they're all standing around a like a radio. And you recognize some of the parts. Maybe some of them, like you've scavenged parts like them. This is a big like radio with the like tubes and everything. And there's an audio, one of those waveform machines.
An oscilloscope.
An oscilloscope. Thank you. And someone is adjusting the dials, and there's like crackling, and you can hear a cacophony of voices coming from the machine, and they're trying to like get a signal. And sometimes the voices overlap and they're speaking together, but only in bits and pieces before the signal comes apart. Yeah, and then this machine, you know, this machine that was built was unfinished. They never built the machinery to channel the voice of the dead properly. But you Ferris could finish that job. You could make that machine work again. And somewhere in the temple, the pieces are still there, right? There's still the cabling. There's still like under all of this ceremony and stuff that's been built around it. The goal is still the same: to understand the will of the dead.
Gosh. All right. And to tie it back to what's going on now, I think what words have been said most recently nearby this? See how people are interfacing with it now.
Yeah. So you see a figure. You can't tell their anything about them really, because they're wearing a like a long plastic like poncho and a hood, and they're kneeling in front of the well, and I think we can see their hands, and their hands are like the hands of an old person, and they're all wrinkly, and maybe there's some like faded blue like tattoos at the wrist, and they're praying for guidance, and I think that you can hear that their whispers are kind of overlaid with this sort of staticky radio tuning like noise, and the voices are all whispering about blood and fire and doom coming from below, and like there's all these like kind of like signals of violence that are pouring into this person as they're praying at the well.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I have this like moment of reverie, and I snap back, and I'm like, Brace, don't go in.
So here's what you see as you snap back from your moment of reverie, right? Is the well, Brace, you have your hands on the well, you're staring into the darkness, and I think we see a close-up of your face, and your pupils are like dilated so much that we can barely see the ring of color around them. And something is emerging from the water. You can see like something coming up out of the darkness. And from Ferris's point of view, Ferris, you see a body like lifting itself up out of the well, and its hands and arms and face and everything, all its skin is like pale and waterlogged. And I don't know if you would recognize it, but we all know it's Deerfield. It's the body of Deerfield.
As it's missing fingers?
Yeah, missing fingers. And it's like coming up out of the well and like reaching for Brace. Brace, you don't see it, like you don't process this information this way. You just feel a sudden swell of intensely powerful like psychic presence like was gonna say welling up, but like building up under the well and coming towards you. And then Ferris says, yeah, don't. And I think it snaps your attention like briefly.
Yep.
What do you do? The two of you, you have a moment.
I guess I like look back and like snap back into myself because like I was outside of myself. Snap back into myself. I look back at Ferris and then I look forward and do recognize that there's a corpse coming at me.
So I actually don't think you see it. I think you turn to look and just feel yourself like tumbling forward, like falling towards the well. Ferris, do you want to try and run and grab Brace before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want her to fall in anymore.
Okay. All right. Why don't you act under fire?
Okay.
And Brace, you can. All right, Brace, do you want to try to help?
No.
You just
That's
want,
how you do something under fire, Dave.
That's really cool. I think either way is really cool.
yeah, either way. Like if you get to choose here whether you want Brace to fall into the well or not, Blue Jay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So yeah, Ferris, you're like no, and you like start to take a step forward, and then the body just like grabs Brace in like a hug and just yanks her down into the well, and then she's gone, just into the water. There's maybe a faint splash in the darkness.
Oh. Help! Somebody! Oh my god! Melody!
Holy shit.
All right, so I think we cut from there where you're just like, help, Melody, and then we cut over to Tynan. So let's take our last break, and then Tynan, I want to see how you and your new friend Bill are getting along, and whether you get released from Bill's clutches today. I think you might. I think you have that power over him. Stick around. We got a little bit more of the post-apocalypse coming at you right after this.